Frau Dr. Hope ist Umweltmedizinerin in Kalifornien und wir haben großes Glück, dass sie gekommen ist. Und ich habe gesagt, Sie sind aber einen weiten Weg gekommen. Ja, sagt sie, sie hätte hier auch noch Freunde und Bekannte. Da haben wir aber Glück gehabt.
Ja, ich auch. Ja.
Ich danke Ihnen sehr für Ihr Kommen.
Okay.
Let's begin. Okay,
Ja.
thank you.
Vielen Dank für die Einladung. Ich lerne viel hier. I'm going to go over some of the immunologic and inflammatory effects of indoor air pollution with a focus on my focus area of water damage and mold indoors. So I'll cover general indoor air pollution and water damage. So these are the usual players. Some are more unique to indoors versus outdoors. Of course, outdoor air pollution has a large impact on the indoor air quality. We can see any of these things indoor and they contribute to health effects. I mentioned hydrogen sulfide specifically because I've seen that do some bad damage in the indoor setting on several occasions, especially from a neurocognitive point of view. This is one of many diagrams you can find that shows the areas throughout the home that can be problematic. As one of the earlier, I think it was Dr. Spitz, the vitamin D speaker, pointed out, we spend, according to the US EPA, approximately 90% of our time indoors where concentrations of pollutants are 2 to 5 times higher, sometimes 100 times higher than typical outdoor concentrations. So if we think about our ancestors spent most of their time outside moving, we now spend most of our time inside sitting down. Indoor air quality is one of the EPA's top 5 environmental health concerns to humans. Given that 90% time, you wonder why it's not even higher. This is just a World Health Organization diagram, deaths primarily focused on cardiovascular and respiratory illness. And these particular cases are primarily from cooking combustion materials in third world countries, but other indoor air pollutants contribute as well. I apologize, the quality isn't that great on this one, but this was from the National Institute of Occupational Health and Safety from the US, the contributors to indoor air quality. Ventilation being very significant, outdoor and indoor components being similarly, close to the same amount of significance. So ventilation, of course, is very important, but according to Max van Pettenkofer, an early hygiene expert, if there's a pile of manure in a space, do not try to remove the pile of manure, or do not try and remove the odor by ventilation, remove the pile of manure. I point this out because this comes up quite often with water damaged buildings and mold. There's frequently attempts to try and clean them with various typical chemicals like bleach or ammonia. And in many cases, the dead mold is actually more dangerous than the live mold because it fragments into smaller components that can get deeper into the body. This was a study on deliberately contaminated building materials. They were contaminated with Stachybotrys and Aspergillus, and they tried to treat them. I'll go ahead and show you what they tried to use. All the typical things one might try: ozone, peroxide, heating, boron-based chemicals, the hypochlorite bleach chemicals, drying. And their conclusions were that none of the decontamination methods could even completely eliminate the viable mold, and none of them eliminated the mycotoxins. So any attempt to just treat with any chemical, as far as I've read so far, I can't imagine it being successful. The ammonia-based and the boron-based were somewhat more effective. So this slide is the typical size of particulates that we'll see, with the very large ones having less significance than the smaller ones. The only thing I would like to add is that the mold should extend down at least till about there, because it's the fragments that are really the most significant component of the exposure.